9 months ago, I said that Pierre Poilievre should not have declined a Joe Rogan interview during his election campaign, and I believe that he should have won. He would have won the election if he did that interview, but he didn't do it. But he did one just recently. Here are a few clips from Pierre doing the Joe Rogan interview, and afterwards, I'm going to tell you whether it was too late or not to do this interview. Here we go.
Yes, me too.
I wanted to do it the first go around.
Yeah, I know. When I got the invitation, we were in the middle of the election, and we just don't leave the country during election campaigns.
I get it.
In the last 100 years.
Printing money is just insane. It's just the idea you just print more money. It's like, and people go, oh, okay.
Well, it looks painless at first,
Right.
but if you have an economy with 10 apples and $10, it's $1 an apple. You double the number of dollars to 20, but you still only have 10 apples. Well, all of a sudden it's $2 an apple. And it's not that the cost of apples has gone up. It still costs the same resources to grow and pick the apples. It's that the price has gone up because the value of the money has gone down.
Right.
So in America, over the last 55 years, you've doubled the number of homes in America from about 70 million to 150 million. You know how much the money supply has grown? 30 times. So you have twice the homes, but 30 times the cash. So what's happened? Housing costs have gone up 15-fold in 55 years. And now an entire generation of kids can't afford homes. We have exactly the same problem in Canada. Take money, so I would get rid of that. We're giving a lot of money to fake refugees, people who come in and they're not actually fleeing danger. Like I love real refugees. My wife was a refugee, but I have no time for people who are pretending, but they're not really.
And what do you mean by pretending to be a refugee? How are they doing this?
They're not actually endangered in their home country. So they've come to be declared themselves as students and then wanting to stay, declaring a refugee status.
Oh, and this is common?
Yeah,
It's just
it
a
happens.
loophole?
It happens, and I mean, they just want to have a better life. So I don't begrudge them as people, but we can't spend money on enhanced social services, advanced programs that we as Canadians don't get for
Right.
people who are not paying into.
So
the
you're not
system.
opposed to them being there. You're opposed to them getting
Well,
Canadian
I'm
welfare.
opposed to them. If they're not real refugees, they shouldn't be brought in as refugees. I think we have to distinguish between those people who are actually in danger in their home country, which is the definition of a refugee, and someone who just wants to come in excess of their proper
Is
immigration
this
stream.
that common that it's actually affecting our economy?
Right now, it's a challenge because we had a big number of international students and temporary foreign workers that came in very large numbers in like 2 or 3 years. We were bringing in about 1 million people a year, which in America's terms would be 10 million, like just if you're doing per capita. And it really caused a housing shortage, like some places where you have 26 of these students living in one basement. So we're trying to unwind that now.
All right. First and foremost, I'm going to call cap on the intro where Pierre said he cannot go outside of Canada during the campaign to do the interview. Look, you have a private plane, sir. You could have easily flew over to Texas, do the 3-hour interview, and fly back to Canada. People wouldn't even realize that you were gone that long. You were in the midst of a campaign, but it could have been done. Things like that could have been done, especially if you know that it's going to have an impact on your campaign. I think that your PR team did a big mistake in not doing an interview during the campaign. And I'll stand by that. All right, because I do believe that a lot of the stuff during your campaign was scripted. You probably didn't want to go off script either, because obviously it was an off script interview. 2.5 hours, you can't script that, right? But that being said, it is 2026 and you do the interview, and to be honest, he did bring up a lot of it was a good interview. I won't say a great interview because a lot of it, he spoke a lot about MMA and a lot of other things. Spoke a lot about sports. It was a good interview. It wouldn't have been as effective. I think it would have been a lot more effective if it was during the campaign, because he'd have to bring up a lot of those issues that he talked about. Like he did speak about homes and fake refugees. He spoke about the justice system. He talked about the Apple commercial that he did. And these were a lot of good points, but most of it was not a political interview. And that's cool. I don't have a problem with it. I'm just saying, that doing this interview now, how does it affect you moving forward? Because if we look at it, Mark Carney and the Liberals are only, 2 seats away from a majority government. If they get this majority government, there's no election until 2029. And by then, people will have forgotten about this interview. Even though it's in the archives, they'll have forgotten about this interview. A lot of stuff is going to happen if the Liberals have a majority government, to the point where you're going to have to do one or two more of these interviews. And, I just believe it was a good interview done too late. Because had you done this interview last year, it could have affected the outcome of this election. Because people who were on the fence of whether to vote Liberal or Conservative could have gone back to the interview and gone over some of your points, and then they would make a more rational decision on who to vote for. I believe Pierre and the Conservatives thought they had this election in the bag, that they thought they were going to win. And had you done this interview, perhaps you would have gotten a minority government. Remember, it was projected well before Carney came in the picture that you'd win with a majority government. But you didn't even win with a minority government. You lost. And had you won with a minority government, you would be the prime minister today. The interview was done too little too late. He did bring up some good points. I listened to the entire interview, not just clips, because I wanted to break it down and give you my actual thoughts of it. And I feel that you bring up these things now, and they're current things that we need to address. But in a country where it feels like it is heading towards communism very quickly, now it's just an interview. Now it's all of a sudden you got Joe Rogan saying, "Man, I wish you were the prime minister of Canada." But the question is now, how soon is Canada going to get an election? Because at the rate of it, it's not going to be for another 3 years. And 3 years, this country is going to be completely unrecognizable compared to even 2025, when the last election took place. It definitely does not look like the same Canada when Justin Trudeau and the Liberals took over in 2014. But anyway, I want to know your thoughts on the interview. Did you watch the interview? Did you watch clips of the interview? What are your thoughts on it? Do you agree with me in saying that this interview was too late and he should have done this during the campaign, and it would have had a different impact on the election had he done this interview during the campaign? Let me know your thoughts, share, and subscribe to Born with Purpose. It's always a pleasure doing videos with you. Till then, I'm out. God bless. Peace.